Welcome to the Mental Health Brain YouTube channel. Title: Echoes of Inhumanity. Written and presented by R.M. Shah. Let's begin the video with a lovely tale. Chapter 1: The Arrival. The rain fell relentlessly, a curtain of despair shrouding the small village of Eldridge. Its cobbled streets, once bustling with life, now lay empty and forsaken. In a world on the brink of chaos, the village was but a faint memory of better days. Eldridge had been forgotten by the world, abandoned by the authorities, and left to fend for itself. The villagers clung to a fragile existence, eking out a living from the unforgiving land. Among them, a young woman named Ilara stood as a symbol of resilience. Ilara's life had been anything but ordinary. She had been born into this desolation, a child of hardship and suffering. Her parents, long gone, had succumbed to the cruelty of fate, leaving her to navigate this grim existence alone. She had learned to fend for herself, to take what she needed without hesitation. One fateful evening, as the rain pounded on the village, Ilara heard a peculiar sound. A distant rumble grew steadily louder, sending shivers down her spine. She stepped outside, her eyes widening in disbelief, as she saw a convoy of armored trucks approaching. It was the first sign of life from the outside world in years. The trucks came to a halt, and a group of men clad in black uniforms emerged. They were armed to the teeth, their faces hidden behind sinister masks. Their leader, a tall and imposing figure, stepped forward and addressed the villagers. "We are the Liberation Front," he declared, his voice carrying an air of authority. "We have come to liberate you from the chains of your pitiful existence." The villagers exchanged wary glances, uncertain of this sudden intrusion into their world. Chapter 2: The Promise. The Liberation Front offered the villagers hope, a promise of a better life, of escaping the unrelenting grip of poverty and despair. They spoke of a new order, a world where justice and equality reigned supreme. Many villagers were seduced by their words, envisioning a life free from suffering. Ilara, however, remained skeptical. She had seen too much of the world's cruelty to trust these outsiders blindly. She watched as her fellow villagers embraced the Liberation Front's message, believing in a brighter future. As days turned into weeks, the Liberation Front wasted no time in implementing their vision. They began distributing food and supplies, restoring the village's crumbling infrastructure, and even providing medical care to the sick and injured. It seemed as though the promise of salvation was becoming a reality. But with every gift came a price. The Liberation Front demanded absolute loyalty, unwavering obedience, and complete submission to their authority. Those who dared to question or resist were swiftly dealt with, their voices silenced forever. Ilara observed these developments with growing unease. She sensed that something sinister lurked beneath the facade of benevolence. She decided to investigate, determined to uncover the truth. Chapter 3: The Unmasking. Under the cover of darkness, Ilara sneaked into the heart of the Liberation Front's camp. She moved silently, like a shadow in the night, until she stumbled upon a hidden chamber. What she witnessed inside would haunt her forever. Rows of prisoners, shackled and emaciated, filled the dimly lit room. Their faces were etched with terror, their eyes vacant and devoid of hope. Ilara recognized some as villagers, who had dared to defy the Liberation Front's rule. In the center of the room, the imposing leader presided over a grotesque spectacle. He reveled in the suffering of his captives, subjecting them to unspeakable horrors. Ilara watched in horror as he raised his mask, revealing a face twisted by sadistic pleasure. She knew she had to escape and expose the truth. But before she could slip away, a hand clamped down on her shoulder, and a cold voice whispered in her ear, "You shouldn't have come here." Ilara spun around to find herself face to face with a masked enforcer of the Liberation Front. She had been discovered. Chapter 4: The Escape. Ilara's heart raced as she faced the enforcer. She knew that her life hung in the balance, that discovery would mean certain death. With quick thinking and a burst of agility, she managed to evade his grasp and bolted for the exit. The camp erupted in chaos as alarms blared and armed guards gave chase. Ilara's familiarity with the village's nooks and crannies gave her an advantage, and she eluded her pursuers in the labyrinthine streets. She had one goal in mind: to warn her fellow villagers about the true nature of the Liberation Front. With each step, she could feel the weight of their lives on her shoulders. Chapter 5: The Revelation. Ilara returned to Eldridge under the cover of night, breathless and desperate. She gathered the villagers, who had been lulled into a false sense of security, and revealed the horrifying truth about the Liberation Front. She spoke of the prisoners, the sadistic leader, and the nightmare that lurked beneath the surface. At first, disbelief hung in the air. The promises of the Liberation Front had been so alluring, and the villagers were reluctant to accept that they had been deceived. But as Ilara produced evidence of her harrowing encounter, doubt turned to anger. A spark of resistance ignited within the villagers. They began to organize, to strategize, and to plan their escape from the oppressive grip of the Liberation Front. It was a risky endeavor, fraught with danger, but they had no other choice. Chapter 6: The Uprising. The villagers launched their uprising on a stormy night, using the darkness and rain as their allies. They struck swiftly, overpowering the Liberation Front's guards and liberating the prisoners. The camp erupted in chaos, and the sadistic leader, unmasked and vulnerable, was captured. As the rain poured down, the villagers confronted their tormentors. They demanded answers, justice, and retribution for the suffering they had endured. The sadistic leader, now powerless and exposed, could only cower in the face of their wrath. The liberation came at a heavy cost, with casualties on both sides, but the villagers had regained their freedom. The rain, which had once symbolized their despair, now washed away the stain of inhumanity that had plagued their village. Chapter 7: Reflection. In the aftermath of the uprising, Eldridge began the slow process of rebuilding. The scars of inhumanity ran deep, but the villagers were determined to create a better future. They vowed never to forget the lessons they had learned, the price of blind trust, and the importance of standing up against oppression. Ilara emerged as a symbol of resilience and courage, a beacon of hope in a world that had nearly consumed her. She had witnessed the darkest depths of inhumanity, but had also played a pivotal role in its defeat. As the years passed, Eldridge thrived once more, not through the false promises of outsiders, but through the strength of its people. They had learned that true liberation came from within, from the indomitable spirit that refused to be broken by the inhumanity of others. And as the rain continued to fall, a reminder of the village's past suffering, it also served as a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit to overcome even the darkest of storms. The end. Greetings and thank you for watching. We would appreciate it if you subscribed, liked, shared, followed, commented, and turned on the bell icon. Our next video on your preferred mental health brain YouTube channel will be up soon.